Hey everybody, hope you're all having a solid day today, and welcome to the first episode of Jurassic June, so let's get right into it, shall we? Okay, so the first movie I'm covering for this trend isn't really a dinosaur movie, but it's about an actual prehistoric animal. This isn't nothing like friggin' Dino Shark, but an actual prehistoric animal, so I'm counting it anyway. Anyways, anyone remember the movie about aliens taking control of a mammoth? No? Well then, so apparently 40,000 years ago, some aliens came to Earth and tried to take control of this random ass mammoth that some humans killed, but they didn't really succeed, so they just shot a small transmitter into it for later use, for some reason. Now, cut to modern day of 2006, the transmitter somehow activates, calls the same random alien race, who then sends a probe to the museum where the mammoth. Okay, I need to give this some attention here real quick. When we first see the damn thing, the sumbitch is fully frozen, and the room he's in isn't even kept cold at all, which makes no sense, because if you have a giant block of ice in the middle of the room, shouldn't you keep the AC, like, all the way up so it stays, cold? Because seriously, that ice would have been melted already. But no, for the sake of the plot, the alien probe smashes into the mammoth, letting it out, and then we have our prehistoric beast on the loose move. I don't know why aliens had to be involved. I mean, they do explain that they were using the mammoth to take over Earth, which really doesn't make any sense because aliens have advanced weaponry. What the hell do they need this random ass mammoth for? Like, why couldn't this movie just be a mammoth version of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms? Creature gets thawed out from ice and goes on a rampage. But despite that little amount of confusion, the tone of this movie is all over the place. When the mammoth isn't on screen, the movie literally becomes a straight up comedy. With the exception of like one scene where the mammoth attacks an older couple with this random jazz music playing in the background. There's two lines in this movie that got a laugh out of me, with the first being a scene where one of the main characters looks up at the mammoth and instead of running away, he looks at it and says, "Oh, you are one big, hairy, magnificent bastard." Not gonna lie, that would most likely be me in that situation. The second line is towards the end of the movie where the sheriff stares at the mammoth and he says, "God is for Sunday. Today we pray to Nike." What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me take a minute to calm down. Just thinking about that line again is just too funny. Give me a sec, folks. Okay, folks. I just had to take a minute to calm down and quit laughing here because thinking about that line again was just too funny. So, I'm all good now. But I swear, the writers of this movie just didn't either give a shit and just wrote whatever, or the actors made up half their dialogue. And speaking of the actors, they all actually do a good job in this movie. The two best ones in this are Tom Skerritt, the guy who encountered a xenomorph in the style of "Surprise, motherfucker!" and Vincent Van Tresco, who play off each other pretty well as father and son. I like that Tom Skerritt plays one of those UFO hunters that has the whole house rigged up for that. And I wouldn't be surprised if his role in Alien is the reason for why his character is like that in Mammoth here. He has his own standout moment when he confuses a dead dude in a gorilla suit that was killed by the mammoth off screen, which is bullshit. The movie should have showed it for an alien. Now, I have to address the literal elephant in the room here. First off, I love the design of the mammoth in this movie. Being that it's quite literally a zombie, like an alien-possessed zombie, I never would have thought a mammoth can be scary. Like, I give major props to the dude who designed it because it is fugly, but it works within the context of the movie here. There's one thing about it that bugs the absolute shit out of me. At the end of the movie, the mammoth doesn't get blown up or shot up to hell. It gets frozen again, then put back in the museum from the beginning. Before the credits start rolling, there's a moment where this chick tells these kids that the mammoth was a fucking adolescent. I'm sorry. What? The actual ass. How the hell is this thing an adolescent when the movie clearly stated that it's 13 feet tall and weighs 18 tons? How is this an That one line is the biggest load of bullshit I have ever seen in a prehistoric animal movie. You know, and I thought the Cobra Hood thing from the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park was ridiculous, but that line contradicting the size of the mammoth that was said earlier in this movie just like the fuck was this movie trying to be? 10,000 BC before 10,000 BC? Like seriously, clearly the mammoth is an adult. Overall, with shit that makes no sense, tone going back and forth, cool looking prehistoric animal, decent acting, I honestly recommend checking this movie out. I give this a solid 4 out of 5. Alright, thank you all for watching my first episode of Jurassic June here. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I understand that Mammoth is not a dinosaur movie, but I kind of figured since it's a movie involving a prehistoric animal, I thought I would include it in Jurassic June. And also, please be sure to like, share, and please consider subscribing. All the support that you guys give this channel gives me the motivation to keep making more content for you guys. So have a good rest of the day and stay cheesy, everybody, and I shall see you all tomorrow with the next review.